people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop.
Hello everybody, welcome to this week's episode of MGR Unplugged. This is what we call a breaking news emergency episode for us. We never do that, but this is we actually had a different series of topics, more in the e-commerce that we started last week. But I decided that we had to talk about this GameStop frenzy, I would call it, in the stock market. It's like the David versus Goliath, and nothing against you, David. Is the no pun intended, but it's basically the small retail investors trying to fight the big Wall Street hedge fund managers and the battle of the shorts here. So I'm gonna let David take it away because this started with Reddit actually, with a forum, I think it's called, from Reddit. Subreddit. Yeah. Okay, see, it has a lingo that I'm not familiar with, but it's Reddit is basically, why don't you go start with that stuff so I don't put my foot in my
Boomer,
mouth.
you need me to take over here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you want me to, I think I should give the background because I don't think everybody knows, okay, what happened this week. GameStop
actually, that's true,
went up a ton, but what's
well,
the
first
background?
of all, what is GameStop? I don't know if many people know what a GameStop is.
I think most people know what GameStop
I don't know.
is.
I mean, it's a retailer for video games,
Yeah.
mostly in malls, as far as I know.
No, I mean, they had non-mall stores too.
Okay, but mostly you used to go there, and it's almost like a Blockbuster video of video games. You go
People
there.
know what GameStop is. Okay.
No, are you serious? I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know. I mean,
of
a lot of
course.
people that are not gamers may not know what GameStop is.
It's a resale store for video games. How
Okay,
complicated
well,
is
which
that?
means that it's basically dead on arrival these days because
Not necessarily.
yeah,
but
well,
anyways.
nobody's going to malls and nobody's buying video games
because
these
of the
days.
pandemic is different. But anyways, let's move on.
Well, that's the story. That's the situation
Well-
why GameStop were so low to begin with, right? I just wanted to establish
Yeah,
why
of
GameStop
course.
was basically
Yeah.
we're shorting it because normally you don't short a company you think is going to do well.
Yeah.
So the reason why GameStop was very low and the hedge funds were shorting it is because they thought it was going to be basically going bankrupt because they said, okay, it's a retail store for video games. Most of the video games nowadays are online or you download them or whatever. You don't need to go physically to a store and buy the video game, put it in your console and all that stuff. So that was the whole thing. That's why I say it's like a Blockbuster video games that you don't go to a store anymore. You start streaming videos and all that stuff.
Fine.
So that's basically the background about the company itself. That it was a company that people thought it was going to die, basically.
Sure. But to give background on what Wall Street Bets is, because I think a lot of people might have, obviously people now have heard of it, but I don't think people really know what it is. It's like it's a subreddit where, honestly, it was more famous for people posting like big losses than it was for like any type of like, oh, let's get together and buy a stock or anything like that. Like, I mean, Wall Street Bets has been around for years.
Right.
In fact, I actually, at one point, for our channel, I wanted to make a fun video. This was like in the beginning of the pandemic. I was trying to come with content ideas.
Yeah.
And one of my ideas was literally, I'm going to follow the advice of Wall Street Bets for a week and just invest
see what happens.
based on what they said.
Yeah.
And then I kind of pussied out because I was like, I don't want to lose my money. but it's because Wall Street Bets was famously like, the members, like on Reddit, you can customize your forum. And so the members, they literally, instead of saying like 2 million members, they say 2 million degenerates. Like, that's literally what they call themselves.
They even have an acronym, right? Don't they call themselves WSB or something?
Yeah, Wall Street Bets, WSB for short. But yeah, they call themselves degenerates.
Which I thought it was a typo. I thought it was WSJ, like the Wall Street Journal, and now it's Wall Street Bets. So, anyways, but it's mostly young people, right? I mean, we don't know. There's no, it's anonymous accounts or whatever. But it looks like the demographic was very young people that grew up mostly doing the maybe the previous recession or something, and they were part of the
I would guess most people on there are under 40 for sure.
Yeah, and they kind of have a little bit of a revenge thing against hedge funds, and I mean that's just what I think I've read, that some of those guys are a little bit like the David versus Goliath type attitude.
Yeah, well, that kind of started later. Like, basically, okay, so how the whole GameStop thing started, because I don't think most people know. So there's a user on this subreddit His username is Deep Fucking Value. That's his username.
Oh, don't start cursing, okay? Because then I can't do anything with this podcast.
Deep Effing Value. And basically...
That's his username?
That's his username.
Okay.
And this was back September 2019, I think. He posted on the subreddit that he was going long YOLO. YOLO is basically... You know what
you
YOLO
only
is?
live once.
Yeah, YOLO, basically it's like YOLO bet on GameStop. And he bought deep out of the money calls for GameStop. He put $50,000 into GameStop.
And that's when the price of the stock was what, like $40 or $30 or something?
No, it was like $3.
$3?
Yes.
So it was like a penny stock.
Because basically what he said was...
Just for reference, GameStop last night was about 500.
Yeah.
But we get to that in a second.
But yeah, he basically did analysis of the company, and he said there's a bunch of people who are betting that they're going to go bankrupt, but they actually have a clean balance sheet. So even though the company is doing badly as far as like revenues are going down, they don't have a lot of debt. They have cash in the bank. So he says, I don't think they're going to go bankrupt. And that was his big bet. And this is like a year and a half ago. And so he made that bet, and he would post once a month an update on the bet with a screenshot from his E-Trade account. Okay. And he was basically losing forever. And it became like a joke on the subreddit that this, like, he was like on this. But then, tell me if you remember this name. Dr. Michael J. Burry. Does that sound familiar?
Michael J. Burry? No.
Christian Bale from The Big Short.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He started buying call options.
So that's another
for GameStop.
fake name, right?
No.
It's another user.
No.
Oh, he's the real guy.
guy.
Oh, the real guy.
The real.
Oh, I thought it was another
The real guy. The guy in
FU name or something.
No. The real Dr. Michael J. Burry.
Okay.
The guy who Christian Bale played in the movie The Big Short. For those who have seen it, who basically predicted the crash of the 2007-8 recession. He saw the same thing that the Deep Value guy saw, and he basically posted publicly that he was buying long calls on GameStop. Okay. And this was after. And then basically, fast forward a bunch to now, basically January 2020. This all started September 2019, I think. So January 2021. So like over a year.
Yeah, over a year ago.
Fast forward, and basically this hedge fund called Melvin Capital, which I think people know already. People kind of know the story already. They were heavy short. They were so short that basically they were short more shares than existed for
than
GameStop.
even available. Yeah.
And
maybe we should clarify a little bit what shorting is.
Yeah. So when people hear short squeeze, what that means is
just shorting a stock, basically.
Right, but I'll explain. So basically, when you short a stock, you're betting that it's going to go down in price.
But you don't even own it. You borrow a stock.
Right. It's the opposite of buying a stock. When you buy a stock, you're betting it's going to go up. When you short it, you're betting it's going to go down. And when you short, what you're doing is you're basically lending it, so to speak. So you're buying it at one price and then lending it out.
Yeah, you borrow it without even from actually stock owners at one price, and then you bet that it's going to go down, so you lend it.
And then so that you can buy it back at a lower price.
And then you, in theory, return it to the original owner and then cash in the profit, in the difference.
Right. And the reason it can be risky to short a stock is because you have limited upside, because the stock can only go to zero. So in the case of GameStop, if it went from $4 or $5 a share to zero, that's as much as it can go. But as we saw, it can go to 500.
Right. So at some point you need to cover your short.
And you have to cover.
You have to. Absolutely.
You have to. And so that's when you call it a short squeeze. It basically means when the stock went from $5 to $80, basically in like 2 days, Melvin Capital got fucked because all of a sudden they had
that's the first beep of this podcast.
They got screwed. They had to buy back. They did not have a choice. They had to buy back shares at $80 a share, and so they were getting totally screwed, and they were gonna go bankrupt. They were gonna go under. So then they got a loan from Citadel.
$2 billion loan or something. Just
$2.7 billion.
$2.7 billion loan just to cover their short.
Just to cover their short from Citadel. Now, who is Citadel? Citadel is a major investor in Robinhood and is the one who basically funds Robinhood. So how does Robinhood make...
Robinhood is interactive or online broker.
Yes, and in fact, Citadel doesn't just do it for Robinhood. They do it for Ameritrade and Charles Schwab as well, I believe. So Robinhood's big thing when they came out a few years ago or whenever they started getting big is that they had $0 commission trades. Back in the day, you used to have to pay $5.
They were the ones who started the trade, and then everybody had to even it out.
Before it used to be like you pay $5, $7,
$5, $6, $7,
whatever a trade, right? And then they had it free. And it's like, how does Robinhood make money then if they don't have commission on trades? Well, the biggest way they make money is they sell the order flow to Citadel. Or Citadel's the biggest customer. There's others that they sell it to. And they sell it to high-frequency traders, which are basically people who...
Like the Flash Boys.
Literally in the...
Intercept the trade.
When you place an order, it takes, whatever, say a few hundred milliseconds by the time you place it, but to when it actually gets fulfilled. In that time, there are traders who are trading based on that.
Right.
And so Citadel is buying all that data.
For those of you who want to know more about high frequency trading, I highly recommend Michael Lewis' book, Flash Boys. I read it, I don't know when it came out, 3-4 summers ago. Yeah. Very, very cool book. Anyways, go ahead.
So that's Citadel is the biggof partner for Robinhood. They basically fund Robinhood, so to speak.
Right.
And so then, kind of where are we at? I'm trying to explain the whole story, but
well, you're talking about the shorting. How
so the short squeeze happened, and then basically all of a sudden people on this Reddit realized, oh, Melvin Capital is way over shorting this stock because it wasn't. They were like short 130% of all shares, but it's not just that. The thing is, not all the shares are liquid. Most of the shares of GameStop, like 70-something%, were locked up with like institutions, pensions, all these things that aren't like that aren't moving a lot.
Right.
So really, the day-to-day float of the stock, which is like the daily volume, they were short like 400% of the day-to-day float. So meaning they were short 4 times as much as the day-to-day float. And so all these Redditors realized, oh, we can squeeze these guys.
Redditors. That's the Reddit people?
Reddit, yeah.
Oh,
they realized we can squeeze these people because they got basically Melvin Capital got greedy, and they had to pay for it. And these Redditors realized, oh, we can squeeze these guys. So Redditors started piling in onto GameStop, and it goes from like 5 to 10 to 15 to 20, and all of a sudden Melvin Capital starts freaking out. And then the stock spiked all the way in like 2 days from like $4 a share to like 130. And then it dipped back down to like 70, 80, and then ripped all the way to the 300s. And then overnight, last night, it peaked at almost $500.
For anybody that is curious, you can just go to any trading platform.
I'm sure
or
people
CNBC,
have heard.
and then just go to look for GME, which is the ticker symbol for GameStop.
I'm sure people have heard by now.
Yeah,
but
no, I've heard. But I mean, I just want to see how they see the chart. The chart is incredible. Now it goes like this, and it spikes. And
the craziest thing is, I don't know where it stands now, but the deep value guy, he's $50,000 bet.
Well, how many shares did he buy?
He was buying options, but then he converted a lot of them into shares.
Right. So
his $50,000 investment, he turned it into over $50 million
on paper, or did he actually cash out?
So he cashed some out, but I think some is still on paper.
Well, right now it's
I don't know.
It's about 237, but overnight,
the dude turned 50 grand into 50 fucking million.
Yeah.
I mean, that is trade of the century.
That's like he's bailing out the government now because he's gonna have to pay maybe 40% in taxes, in short term.
So insane.
Well, actually, it's not even short term. He held it for probably more than a year, so it's gonna be taxed as his normal, income tax bracket.
Doesn't matter. I mean, that's so insane. But anyway, so that all happens. And then that kind of was the first part where it was kind of like people like, oh my God, like Reddit. So then after that happened, then Reddit, basically all these Wall Street bets realized, hey, there's plenty of other stocks that are heavily shorted too.
But my curiosity is, I don't know if I'm familiar with Reddit, but before we get to the other stocks, so these people that are members of WSB, how many members are in that subforum?
It started with like 2 million a week ago
already. Okay, and now
I mean, it's been growing for years,
right?
And it had like 2 million a week ago, and now I think it has over 3.5 million.
Okay, so obviously more people. So this guys kind of unionize themselves, to use a word, to basically together say, hey, we're gonna fuck this. We're gonna screw this hedge funds basically.
Yeah.
Specifically Melvin, and say we're gonna buy all together. So we're gonna boost the price of the stock instead of going down. It's gonna go way back up, and then Melvin is gonna be screwed basically.
Yeah.
So they actually had this communication between them saying, hey, let's do this, let's go buy. And these are guys that probably don't have a lot of disposable income, so we're buying like a few shares. I mean, maybe they even use their...
There's some people on there with a lot of money, and some people with just throwing in a few $100, a few $1,000.
I mean, maybe even the government check that they just got, the $600,
yeah,
and they bought a bunch
people
of shares.
Joking about.
Yeah, exactly. People are saying the government money is making these people invest, which is good. It's good financial education. You get your money, and instead of spending in stupid shit, you buy actually something, and then you get it.
So then everybody on Reddit realized, hey, there's plenty of other stocks that are heavily shorted too. We can squeeze them. And so that's why you started seeing BlackBerry, AMC.
Basically, all the companies that are having a death by 1,000 cuts.
There's another stock, KOSS, KOSS, that went from $5 to $160 a share.
What's KOSS do? I know.
They're like a furniture company.
Okay.
Basically, they were just looking, what are heavily shorted
Bed
companies?
Bath & Beyond and other companies.
Yeah, what are heavily shorted companies? And they started buying them and trying to squeeze them. And then, so that's what happened. And that's why you started seeing all these stocks roar. And then yesterday, we're recording this on Thursday. Thursday the 28th?
28th, yes.
Yeah. So yesterday, Wednesday afternoon, after trading closed, the first thing that happened was that Discord. So they're on Reddit, but they're also on Discord. And Discord is like a... it's like anybody who's young knows what Discord is. It's like if Slack, but for not work, basically.
Right. Yeah. It's like
some companies actually use Discord too, but
yeah,
it's basically chat rooms and stuff like that. And you can have your own server on Discord. And they had their own Discord server with millions of people too. And Discord banned their server. They shut it down.
They banned their server. Which server?
The Wall Street Bets server.
Oh, they had their own account there
too.
too.
They kicked them off.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they had a server. They were another forum group or something?
No, it was the same group. It was just that Discord is different because you have voice chat and stuff, and people can talk. And
their account basically, but they still. I mean, they were up on.
No, it's basically like their own
Right.
It's basically Discord servers. Is
I understand
what it's called.
So
and they shut it down.
But why would they do that?
They claimed because of hate speech.
Right, but what's the real reason?
Because I have no idea. Because they're
who owns them? I mean, is there anybody?
They're a huge backed VC company.
So it wasn't like a hedge fund saying, "Okay, stop."
I have no idea.
Maybe somebody with a lot of money said.
Yeah, I mean, they're a VC backed company, typical company that's raised a ton of money.
Right.
I have no idea if maybe somebody from one of those VC firms is also connected to the hedge funds.
Who owns Reddit now? I mean, I know that Alexis sold it.
I forget who owns Reddit because he sold it to actually a media company.
A media? Okay, I thought it was a private equity firm or something.
I don't remember who owns Reddit now.
But he actually made Alexis. What's his last name?
Ohanian.
Yeah, he made a comment saying basically this is the new normal. Basically, you're gonna have the small retail investor telling Wall Street that, hey, we're here too. We're not because before. I mean, normally me or you buying stocks don't make a fucking blip on the radar of Wall Street. I mean, we don't make any stock move up and down or anything with the volume that we buy. It's the big institutional investors, the hedge fund managers, the pension funds and all that stuff that actually make the stock go up and down. And this is an example where it's actually the opposite, where a hedge fund was actually screwed big time because a bunch of small individual investors in this case got together and then they reversed the trend of a stock that was basically doomed to die, basically.
Right.
And probably they don't even give up rip about the GameStop or whatever. They just wanted to prove the point, basically. The same thing as the other ones like AMC and
yeah, but the funny thing is now that AMC might make it because of this. Because
Exactly.
AMC got so much liquidity, they're able to sell off their own shares
Right.
and get cash.
Right.
And AMC might actually survive now.
Right.
When it
before
looked
they
like
got
the
an
writing
injection,
was on the wall.
before they had to ask for an injection of cash. You remember back at the end of the last quarter of last year, they had to do that just to be able to get some cash to survive. So now naturally they got cash because their stock is value more. So
So then, here we are Thursday, and this morning, and it's funny because so at like 6 a.m. this morning, I was awake, and
that's exceptional, by the way.
I don't normally wake up that early,
Yeah.
but I was awake, and I'm like, fuck it, let me check Robinhood. Like, let me go look.
But yeah,
because I wanted to
you
see.
do have an account in Robinhood, right?
I do have an account.
Okay.
I use other brokerages too, but the only reason I use Robinhood is because I had Robinhood Gold, and they let me have like large instant transfers, so I can just move money there and trade instantly, basically. And so that's the only reason I like Robinhood, is because they let me do that, and other brokerages don't always let you do that. That changed today. Fuck Robinhood. I'll never use Robinhood
Okay, well,
again.
explain why.
But so basically this morning, so I checked the price. GameStop was, when I checked it, like 6 a.m. We're in Mountain Time, so that'd be like 8 a.m. Eastern. It was at like 450
Yeah.
a share, something like that.
Yeah.
And I looked at costs, which I looked at yesterday. Full transparency. Because I thought it was funny, and I was like, because I was reading through the Reddit, and I was like, these guys are serious. Like, these guys aren't fucking around. And I was like, well, you know what? I took a small amount of money for me that I said, I'm okay. I'm going to risk this. I don't care. I'm going to.
Basically, you're gambling.
Basically, I'm totally gambling. I'm like, I already lost this money.
The casino's going to win.
So I bought costs at $60 a share yesterday. And this morning I checked my Robinhood, and cost is at $170 a share. And I'm like, holy fuck, I just tripled my money overnight. This is insane. And same thing, I got...
Do you get AMC, one of those?
No, I did not do AMC. And I decided just for the cause, I got
You're a big movie buff. I'm surprised you don't support...
I got a few shares of GameStop just for the cause.
For how much?
200 something, 230 or something.
Well, you're 241 as
And
you
it was at like 400, and I was like, holy fuck. I was like,
Well, that was short
I
lived
just
because-
like tripled my money overnight. So
Overnight,
that's a sick...
over hours.
I know, literally. So, and I was like, this is crazy. I was going to sell this morning. I was like, I'm out. I'm done. So that was at like 6 a.m. And then I kind of go back, kind of dozing off. But then I'm kind of like excited. So I can't really sleep. I check Twitter. And all of a sudden I see on Twitter, people were saying Robinhood is not letting people buy shares
They
of
halt
any of
trading.
these.
Yeah.
They didn't halt trading.
No, not trading officially, but Robinhood, the platform, didn't want their customers
So
to...
they've done trading halts before. So right, they have
Right.
the circuit breakers and
Right,
stuff.
right.
But that's for buy and sell.
Yeah.
That just stops all trading.
Right.
Robinhood did something that I've never
seen that before
in
either.
my life.
No, me neither.
You could only sell.
So-
You could not buy shares of any of these stocks. AMC, GameStop, COS, any of them.
Yeah.
So COS, I was all excited, went from 160, 170 back down to 40 a share this
Well,
morning.
the same thing with
GameStop went from almost 500 a share. I'm not sure did it pass 500?
Right now, yeah, it did. It
Okay.
did temporarily, and now it's down to, right now it's 240 or
240 a share. I mean,
Yeah,
I've
that's market
never-
manipulation.
I mean, literally. I'll do it right now. I'll do a live demonstration for you. I gotta make sure I don't show anything. Let me.
You want to show your account number and everything,
No,
and how much money
I
you
don't
have?
want to show anything. I'm moving everything out of Robinhood. I prefer E-Trade. But like I said, the only reason I do it is sometimes I just want to buy instantly, and Robinhood lets me do that. But let me see if I can show people, like on GameStop, for example. Look at this. So first of all, it has a thing. Okay, I'm hiding so it doesn't show my position. But basically, it says a thing, and people can't see it on the camera, but it says, you can close out your position in the stock, but you cannot purchase additional shares.
Right. No, I know.
And then when you click the trade
I mean, it's
button,
pretty much, no, it's not news. I'm looking at a headline now.
you click the trade button. I've never seen
they're
this in
grayed
my
out.
life.
Yeah.
You can click sell. You cannot click buy. I've never seen that in my fucking life. And it's the same for, this is COS. It's at $45 a share now. It was at literally 100. I'm not sure what the peak was.
So this is the thing, and this is why some of the senators.
This is, I mean, how is that not illegal?
Well, exactly. That's the point.
That's what I don't understand.
The point is that this is not just Robinhood.
And so Robinhood was first.
Right.
Then
and
it was
then
Interactive Brokers.
Interactive
did the same
Brokers did the
exact
same thing.
And then another company who's
Schwab or
a competitor to Robinhood called
Right.
Public, which is
Right.
another one. Same exact thing.
Right.
They shut it down.
I've seen it. So, and obviously, Wall Street government is looking into that. The SEC, they're investigating whatever. But then there's also, I mean, that I don't know if it's legal or not. I mean, there's no precedent for that. I'm not sure if the company, Robinhood, whatever, will say, okay, well, we determine what to do, just like Facebook determines what to do, or whatever. But
Yeah, but
the problem is that they're manipulating the market, basically.
but they're not just manipulating the market. They're manipulating the market in favor of
In
their number one customer.
Right, exactly.
How is that
That's
not
what I was trying to say.
blatant
That
market
what they're trying to
manipulation?
do by doing that is, instead of the market being the market, which is supply and demand, it doesn't matter where the demand comes from. And in this case, as we said, the demand is coming from individual retail investors, basically like you and I or any other person. They're trying to defend now by doing that. They're trying to say, okay, we want these citadels and these hedge funds and all that stuff to defend their position, because they were betting on a company going under, and that's where they were shorting the stock. And now by preventing people from buying, the stock can only go down because people can only sell, which means that there's a lot of supply and less demand. Therefore, the price is going to go down, and then they're helping these people.
Right. And there's a rumor, and I don't know if this is confirmed or not. I saw it right before we came on, that Citadel increased its short position this morning right before
It could be. Right.
Robinhood turned it off.
Right. Trying to make up for the losses, all
If
the
that's
investment.
the case,
Yeah, that's SEC.
I mean, how that isn't
right.
blatant market manipulation,
Right.
I don't understand.
Yeah, that will be. I mean, that's
They're
something
already
that-
starting class action lawsuits. I saw this
Oh
morning.
yeah. Oh, there's gonna be a lot. I mean, this is gonna make.
I mean, this could be the end of Robinhood. Seriously, I mean, Wall Street Bets. The other thing that Wall Street Bets, I would say, is half the reason Robinhood even exists.
Right. No,
Wall
I
Street
agree.
Bets,
I agree.
famously, it was like everybody on Wall Street Bets uses Robinhood, or majority of them, and they pushed Robinhood basically, and now Robinhood fucked them over.
Let's put it this way.
Everybody who has, if you have a Robinhood account, you need to get rid of it. I mean, if they're gonna
Well, but really,
blatantly
I mean,
do
really,
this
you were
shit-
saying like, I know I have TD Ameritrade, and I haven't seen that happening. In fact, I tested it. I could buy.
I have E-Trade, and E-Trade's totally fine. E-Trade's
Right.
unaffected.
I think the
can
major
still buy
ones
and
are
sell.
fine, but Robinhood and Interactive Brokers and all those.
Robinhood.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. This
Well-
is their customer base. Their whole customer base. They even have ads of like people on the subway trading stocks and shit because they're like basically democratizing.
Yeah, decentralized trading. Yeah.
No, no. They said democratizing finance or something is their slogan. Some bullshit like that.
Yeah.
And it's not.
Well, basically, they're
fucking
making
people over.
trading and investing available to the smaller person. You know, not just going through major companies. You know, that's what they
I
did.
really hope Robinhood goes under because of this. It would make me so happy.
You're gonna short them now?
Because, well, that's the other thing. They were planning on going public soon. I'd
Yeah,
love
right.
to see them do it now. Fucking everybody on Wall Street Bets. I promise you, they go public, we're shorting the fuck out of it. Okay? Seriously.
No, but you know how
You want to see a
radical
short
this
squeeze? Oh, boy.
You know how radical this is when like I think you told me this earlier before we started recording that Senator Ted Cruz and AOC
both,
actually
like, agreed.
They both agreed.
And they're like, what's going on here?
Like
This is
saying
not...
we need to look into this because we're letting the big whales again squash the investors, the individual investors, by saying, "Oh, you cannot buy and take advantage of this market surge, or basically revert the
Right.
trend of the market and benefit the hedge funds and all these institutional
Hedge funds
investors
can
that are."
manipulate markets as much as they want.
Right.
The second a group of people get together and say, hey, we're going to try to squeeze
And
this hedge
the other
fund.
thing is the ethical question. I mean, I understand shorting stuff. I never ever shorted a stock, even though obviously you could have, or everybody could have.
I've only shorted one stock in my entire life.
Which was?
And I lost horribly, and I've never shorted a stock again.
Which one was this? Out of curiosity.
Micron.
Oh, Micron. Okay.
And
Yeah.
basically, it was really stupid. I shouldn't have done it. It basically the stock doubled in price, and I had to get out
But
of it.
on principle, to me, I mean, when you invest, is the purpose of investing for a person, or I mean, for most people, is to you see a company that you think is going to do better, and you say, okay, I believe in this company for whatever reason. I'm going to buy a portion of the company, which is when you buy a share. That's what it's called, a share. You buy a little fraction of the company, and then you want the company to do well, so you go with the company.
I think shorting is fine. What they should
Well,
probably put a limit on is like exactly what happened in this case, where the shorts were even more than the shares, because that's when it gets crazy.
Yeah, but when you start, but see, it's so easy today to manipulate the short, because I can, and there's cases like that already. And without naming names, you can buy a stock at a certain price, and you're shorting the stock, okay? And then you start bad mouthing that company.
Oh, I know. I mean,
Right.
people are doing it to
The
Tesla
pump and
for
dump
years.
thing.
The reason
but
why
let me finish. So if I'm a personality, if I buy 100 shares of Microsoft, and then I go to my friends and say, oh, I think Microsoft's going to do terrible, the cloud and this and that, and it's like, I'm not going to make a fucking blip on the market. Now, if I'm a famous investor, hedge fund manager, whatever, which I'm on CNBC or whatever, and I decide to short a company, and then I go public on television saying,
That's
oh, well,
what they do.
Exactly, that's the point, that they control everything.
I mean,
because they
listen,
can go and say, oh, this company is not going to do well, I don't have a good perspective, have a lot of competition, a lot of debt, blah, blah. So people are going to sell.
One of the
You're going to
reasons-
cover your short and make money.
One of the reasons why Tesla's stock exploded this year
Right.
was because of a short squeeze as well. 'Cause
Right.
There were a ton of funds that were shorting Tesla.
Right.
And when it kept going up, 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 and up, these funds at some point basically had to liquidate. They had to just take their losses. And when they got squeezed out, that's why Tesla stock went from like, what, 100 something to 800 a share this
Right.
year. That's what happened.
Yes, and the other thing is that, coincidentally or not, yesterday the overall market went down between 2 and 3%. The S&P, Dow, all the major indexes went down between 2 and 3%. And another way to cover your short is basically by selling over. You get a margin call, basically, which is when they call you and say, hey, you're on margin right now, you need to cover. So the other way to acquire liquidity is by selling other stocks that are doing well, that you say, hey, GameStop is doing really bad. My short is really bad because I thought it was going to go down to zero, and now instead it was like 500,
Right.
and I need to cover that, and I don't have the cash, so I'm going to have to sell Microsoft, Apple, or whatever other good stocks that I have just to get more liquidity and cover my short. So the market had a huge sell-off yesterday.
Yeah, I don't
And,
think that was because of. I mean, Melvin is not that big of a hedge fund. So it
Well,
wasn't
I know,
Melvin Capital
but
causing that.
it also started freaking out the market a little bit. I mean, today, I don't know. I mean, today, actually, I'm going to look at it right now. I'm just curious. But I think the market is way back up again today. It's pretty much almost back up to what it was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday, the market was down almost 2%. Today, it's almost up again 2%. So,
But to summarize, kind of, that's where we are now. We're recording this on Thursday, so we don't know what's going to happen after this. But basically, the hedge funds lost so much money, they started just completely manipulating the market and not letting people buy shares and only letting them sell.
So-
I think, can I tell you? Because I was looking through the Reddit, on Twitter, it's amazing. I mean, everybody put all their disagreements aside, and everybody's like, fuck this, we're buying GameStop. Like,
Yeah.
literally, I mean, it's so funny. And everybody, and I'm same thing. I don't care about the money. I put a small amount that I was totally ready to lose. I'm definitely not fucking selling now. Fuck that. Before I was just, I want to get in. I'm gonna get a little money and get
it's
out.
resilient.
And that's all I cared
it's
about.
still hanging in there because
I was like, you know what? I'll get in at 220, 230, and then when it goes to 700, I'm out. Fuck that.
But
I'm
still,
holding. I'm not selling.
At 237, when it was basically trading at 5, 6, or even 20, 30, I mean, that's a multiple triple figure percentage increase. So, still GameStop, which really, when you look at the company number and a company future, to me, it's not a company I will invest in, just because what I said in the beginning, that is like, okay, a retail store about video games, whatever. It kind of really reminds me of Blockbuster, going there to buy a VHS or whatever.
I do wonder though. So if you're a GameStop executive,
you sell.
and you have shares in
Well,
GameStop.
yeah, that would be
But they're locked.
that would be listed on the yeah. You need to advertise that.
If you're like, the CFO of GameStop,
Thank you, Reddit. Thank you, WSB guys. I'm selling my stock and I'm
and your
retiring.
annual stock compensation that you were expecting, let's say it was whatever, $1 million worth of shares at $4 a piece, and now all of a sudden your compensation is like $300 million in shares, but you can't sell.
I don't know.
'cause it's
That's an interesting
What
point.
are you
but
thinking right now?
I don't know, but let's wrap it up then. So what do you think happens from now? I mean,
I
on
have
the,
no
but on the one
idea.
hand, we have.
I mean,
the-
but the best part about all this, the bigger picture, I don't know what's going to happen with GameStop. I can't predict.
Not so
but
much GameStop, but
again, the Discord shutting them down for no reason.
right. That's what I'm getting at. Yeah,
The
exactly.
Robinhood and interactive brokers and now other brokers as well shutting down the public from betting. This is why we need to decentralize everything.
But that's
And
what I'm
this
getting
is-
at. The fact that
when you have the Donald Trump bans,
Yeah.
now this happens.
Right.
I mean, like this is exactly what people were saying when you cannot like Donald Trump, and I'm not a fan of Donald Trump either, but is banning him the right option? And then when AWS is shutting down Parler and taking down all these, basically saying, okay, well, like, because I said, you know what? I think if Twitter wants to ban somebody from their platform, then they should have the right to do that. So long as there's open competition of platforms. But when then the app stores start taking down the apps, and then the infrastructure companies start taking down the servers, there's no room for competition. They're basically they're completely murdering.
pretty soon you have companies like Verizon are going to just shut down your cellular service
They
just
were
because they don't
talking
like
about this.
they don't like what
They
you
were
say.
literally talking. I mean, it's unbelievable.
I know.
And this is why
I think Russia's laughing now. saying, "Whoa."
this is. I actually think it's a good thing because in the short term, it's going to be a lot of volatility in the world in general, but I think everybody's opening their eyes to this is why you need a decentralized.
But legally,
internet.
as we said, there's no precedent for this specific
I have
situation.
no idea what's going to happen.
So I wonder how the SEC is going to regulate this
No
thing.
idea.
If they're going to do anything, because we have the people shorting, then we have the people with futures like calls and puts and things like that, and then we have the whole situation where, like you said, the servers and the trading platforms are just making unilateral decisions to say, okay, they can actually, like you said, circuit breakers in the past have had, when something is extremely volatile, there's mechanisms in place to say, hey, everybody calm down, we're gonna hold trading all
Oh,
together.
and they were already doing that with GameStop.
Right.
And it got halted like 6 times in one
Right,
day.
we hold the whole thing,
But-
and it happens also with the entire market
But I've
when there's
never,
extreme volatility.
ever
but you never see
seen-
one way of trading.
I've never seen. Oh, we're halting buying.
Yeah.
You can sell, but you can't
Well,
buy.
it's like a game where you say, okay, we're gonna play only offense. We're not gonna have any defense. So the score is gonna be like crazy. So yeah, that's totally.
It's like a referee in a basketball game saying, we're only going to call fouls on this team. We're not going to call fouls on that team.
yeah, exactly.
Which is basically what has happened in some of the rigged games. So they
Oh,
speak.
okay, well,
But
that's not change the conversation.
Sacramento Kings fans have never gotten over the Lakers series. But anyways, that's not the topic.
All right, so if you were a betting man, which you are, by the way.
I'm a betting man. I'm a pure speculator.
Okay,
Now,
so
only bet
a
what
week from today.
you can't lose. Oh, I
What's your?
think...
By the way, let me ask you. What's your? Are you willing to reveal your username or whatever on Reddit? Are you Mr.
Oh, I don't really use Reddit.
Are you not part of the best?
Well, I
Wall Street
have an
beat?
account, but I don't really use Reddit. I'm not a big Reddit guy.
You don't
I only
belong-
went on it just because I wanted to see.
But you don't belong to the Wall Street.
I do now. I subscribed just so I could.
But when you sign up, you have to have a username or something, right? Or some kind of.
yeah. It's like David something. I forget.
Okay, so
I
you-
I had a Reddit account for fucking 5 years.
No,
or
I
something.
know. I have it on my phone too.
I had it
never
from
actually.
years ago. I don't really use it. I just went on it because I wanted to see
Yeah,
what
yeah.
they
No,
were
I
saying.
understand. Okay, I was just.
And the
wondering.
only Reddit I look at is the Phoenix Suns subreddit.
Oh yeah.
That's
Okay.
it. That's all I ever used Reddit for. Is I would go and look at the Phoenix Suns
Yeah,
subreddit.
yeah. I
and
do the
that's
same
it.
thing for F1 chats and things like that. So,
But,
all right. So,
um,
anyways, you were a betting man today. Right now is at 236. That's GameStop. What would you think it'll be a week from
Honestly,
today? It's gonna go back to normal.
I have no idea, but I don't.
But you
think,
can still short the stock. You think it's gonna go down to 100?
I don't think people are gonna sell.
You don't.
No.
But that's the other thing I was gonna ask you. Is it possible that some of these institutional investors
Oh, yeah.
that get into Wall Street bets now, and they're also buying.
Oh, they already were. Oh, yeah.
They are there too.
They said there were quant firms analyzing comment threads on Wall Street bets.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I mean, part of the reason why GameStop had GameStop had $20 billion of volume on Wednesday or Tuesday,
Right.
which was the most of any stock, more than SPY, Apple,
Right.
Tesla, any of them. Basically, I think GameStop's market cap to start the day on Tuesday was like $4 billion or even less, and the volume was $20 billion or something
Sure,
crazy.
exactly. But
That's not just
so
individuals.
you feel like, or you think that
It's 100%. There are hedge funds that basically got in on this and were buying too.
And they're buying too.
And they were basically saying, okay, we're going to ride this.
right. So
in
they're
the
trying
same way
to
the retail investors
just
were.
basically
Yes.
they're joining the herd now and
Yes.
saying, okay, we're gonna do that.
Oh, yes.
Okay. All right. Well, that's interesting. And under all this radar, Apple reported record revenues yesterday, and all that stuff was like totally no news now. It's like 100 billion or whatever in revenue. It's like the best quarter ever in the history of
I know.
Apple. And then it's like, oh, by the way, since when Apple is, oh, by the way, compared to GameStop, incredible. It's amazing.
Apple's cash flow is more than the tax revenue of the state of California.
Yes, I know. They should talk to Gavin Newsom and say, hey, you need help? We're out of Cupertino.
If Apple was a country,
Yeah.
it'd be one of the largest GDPs in the world.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, that's all I have. I mean, this is emergency pod. We usually do it on Thursday anyway, so what's really the emergency topic for a normal podcast?
Fuck these guys. Don't sell.
Yeah.
If you own it, don't sell.
You don't
Screw
need to
these
know
guys.
even what GameStop does or doesn't do.
It's not about the money anymore.
Yeah.
It's about the principle. Seriously. So,
All right.
And this is not financial advice. Don't listen to me.
Yeah, no, this is
again,
just,
I bet a small amount of money. I did not risk a large amount.
This is just for entertainment, but I will follow it to 28. So we'll see what it is a week from today. We'll probably have a GameStop watch, and see where it goes. But
my plan, by the way, was I said I'm gonna do whatever money I make day trading these stocks. I'm gonna cash out and buy more Bitcoin with the profits. That was my.
Oh, I thought you were gonna donate it to charity or something like.
Oh, wow,
That's okay. All right, that's too much deduction for you. So you'd rather pay your taxes.
Some people were doing that. Some people were in the subreddit were donating to charity.
Yeah. No, there's other famous investors that actually shorted the stock and all that stuff, and then or have some calls and stuff and futures, and then they traded it and they gave it the proceeds of their revenue, their profits to charity. So, all right, guys, that's all we have for today. We'll be back next week with our normal podcast, and we'll be back soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.